Good morning, everyone. So today, coming into the session, right now, spot is trading just a little over 452. I figured I was going to run through this video just because I think there's a lot of multi-time frame things that I got to talk about today before the long weekend. It's been a while since I shared a chart, and I just want to I feel like writing this out is just way too difficult. So I figured this is more useful in addition to the levels that we already have. For now, to address this August range, I have it drawn out with this yellow fib. Um, for me, in the short term, I've kind of drawn out some of the areas and levels. So I drew our chop zones that are above. I drew our wider range that we had, and then I also drew within the wider range. We know 440 was like a key psych level, and I drew pretty much the triggers for the two ideas that we had at 440. For either deeper correction or move back up to recess this range. From this pop, still I need one more. I need to at least see how we interact with these top fib levels in the chop zones, and then I also need to see if we do pull back, where our higher low is relative. As far as now, we can pull back into the wider range and still maintain higher lows and stay bullish. If I back out on a larger time frame quickly, pull this up. On the weekly, or this is the monthly. On the monthly, decent action so far. And then if I go to ES, let's just do ES futures. ES futures whole shebang. Pretty much broke this golden pocket. For the sell perspective, even this month's low, what did we try to do? We tried to take that out, couldn't do it. So back over that 786. So very interesting spot, dynamic. I mean, yeah, if you're short on this range, you're paying a premium to be short here towards the highs. Otherwise, let's see. Let's go back to the chart, the SPY chart. What time frame are we on? So I had filmed this video earlier. I had talked about the range and how we interacted with it, but more specifically, the two things that I would be looking for now. I kind of keep a 2-plan pocket, but this one is more like a 4-plan pocket. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Hourly is not too useful for me. I guess it is. So off the lows, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this could be like 4, 5. The dip we had yesterday morning, meaning we're coming up to possibly top off this move here. And then the next retracement is really where we'll see if after that, if it's going to come back lower. Like I said, 445 is kind of a pivot area for me right now. At the top of the wider range, between holding the wider range if we come back into it, even though I think we could just hold 448 off rip in the 440 chop zone. But I know this is the actionable area, and that underneath here, it looks kind of sticky for if it gains momentum back under 440 for new lows. So just keep in mind the monthly chart I showed you, and keep in mind this idea I showed you, and then lastly, I want to go over, remember when we were looking for symmetrical move off the top, so down to here pretty much, well, move that, and then pretty much project, came down, dropped down, and then ran the stops. So this would be like another symmetry, and then held the symmetry. So we're in a pretty key spot with this golden pocket, continuation fib, and previous symmetry projection levels. So I'm really watching how we form out here. Like I said, it could be corrective off the lows. We did that symmetry projection, but as you see, we kind of got more than that. And I told you guys you can run a trend-based fib for just a monitor, since we know the time frame, the larger time frame stuff to look at. You can just run a trend-based fib like this to just kind of monitor and see. We do have some confluence here at 466. I mean, 465 is the next zone. Over 420, we've pretty much been talking on the daily about how every $5 or so was, the play was pretty much like $5 or so and all chop and then continuation. After this retracement, you're definitely going to have people looking for those new highs. I mean, right now it's all a timing thing. I think there are a lot of ways to play this. I don't think it's as simple as being like we're going to all-time high by X date by these calls, or oh, we're going to make a lower high and go back to 350. Like, there's so many crazy things that people say in perspective. But what I do want to highlight one more time, I had filmed this earlier and my mic was off, so this video is actually a lot shorter than it originally was. Is low, pretty much high to low to whatever high. This setup is the only thing I would just be cautious of. And then this pretty much agrees. We don't know where the swing's going to be, but I bet you like if it does make a swing, you're gonna have some more confluence at 440. Even if this is a retrace for a higher low to hold this area or above, you know, we could just hold 450 psych. If people are satisfied with the action that is here. But that's just one thing I would keep in mind. Definitely monitor that momentum. Could also double top in this area, so it's all a time frame thing. I think we played this pretty well. I mean, on this retracement, what was I buying? I was buying Apple calls. I was buying Google calls. Pretty decisive about that. So even off the impulsive corrective, this part, even if it's ABC, the C wave, this is what pays, and this is what people always don't want to play. Whether that's on the way up, so like if it's a corrective ABC up, and then it's going back lower, then this part is the juicy long that, but a lot of people scared to trade it because it goes lower. And then same thing for this. This is like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have the structure of the pop, but like I showed you the symmetry in there, and then this little consolidation. So it might be hidden here at the top of the top chop zone, where you know it was down, down, up, down, and then on the up, you still have people that were convinced this cup and handle is going to hold. Boom, that was the liquidity. Grabbed the liquidity from the handle, got supportive, and then did its thing. So a lot of ways to read it. It takes a little bit more to determine if something's impulsive, and I think that's just something you got to keep in the nature of things. And then lastly, I just want to go on a retrospective time intra-year example of what to look for on fibs. I was doing this earlier. I was like, this is like a perfect example. Because this inefficiency, the 618 retest, you always get the retest. Even if you think you're going to swing high, that high conviction into the highs, there's buy orders waiting. Look, wicked, came back, supported, and then this day, I think it was CPI, yeah, we had, or something, we had come and taken out the stops, but look at that, gapped up the next day and then gone. So you see how this market is set up for you to trade. It's not as simple or straightforward as many people think. As far as the extensions or anything crazy, nothing much more than that. I still respect this wider range. We did take some shorts for next week for the scenario that this move and this chop zones and this gap, if it doesn't stick and we play the range, a lot of the people that were late to this, specifically yesterday and the end of the previous day, get burned, and you can still be bullish even on the gap fill. Don't sound too bad to me. And then if it wants to confirm lower, you know how to play it. You got the actionable area, and then you already were in the shorts for the roll, so the premium is already moving in your favor. And then some of the the individual names. That's where you're getting before the move, which is what we've been doing also this year, which is relative strength and relative weakness and getting in before the move. So regardless of if you get massive trend days one day or another and you're not in a position for it on SPY, you're willing and ready to bank. And with that, I'm running 10 minutes, perfect. I'll see you guys at the open later.